What up? What up? What up? It's your favorite auntie with Uncle Tendencies, and it is now joining the conversation. It's the Who Is episode. So let's go ahead and get to it, y'all. Let's go ahead and get to it. It's a lot to talk about. Y'all know he's waiting. I know y'all want to see him. Let's get him to the stage. What's his name? Oh, Coach Ro in the building. What's
What's
happening?
what's up, everybody? What's up, Cess? How you doing today?
Hanging in here, Coach.
Hanging
Got
in
some
there.
surprises for you. Got some surprises for you.
Yeah, I see the crispy white brim. Okay,
Uh, you
what we
know,
doing today? The crispy white. I like that. What's that? New York again?
Man, so you know what it is, New York. So I was a Yankee fan, but also you know what I found out about the Yankees.
Hmm.
As long as I've been wearing brims, now it's a lot of hats with a lot of different colors. A lot of teams got a lot of different
Hmm.
colors. But
Hmm.
back in the day, it was New York that they got all of the different colors, the different options. So I just been a Yankee cap where I like my fitted. So
Throwbacks.
Yankees give me the options I need to go with my wardrobe.
That's
What's up
true.
with you though?
And they're in every state too.
Yeah, you can get them anywhere. You can get 'em anywhere.
I'm good. It's a lot going on, a lot of different things, but I think right now we're at the height. This is the of women's college basketball. This is the time where I get excited because you're going to have a lot of moving, you're going to have a lot of shuffling. The different, I love to see the different narratives by the different states. I look at a lot of different newspapers of where these women play, and it's just like there's a lot of things going on, and I just think it's going to be a lot of upsets this year. I think there's going to be a lot of I can't believe that happened in women's college basketball this year. That's just what I think. That's the way it's looking right now. And it's an exciting time. It's an exciting time. I've been all over the place looking at stuff from I didn't even bring this up to you before. I was looking at, did you see that they just announced the assistant coaches to the national team, women's national team? I mean, that's another thing. It's like, wow, you know, you got some first timers on that. So I mean,
Now, who did they announce? I haven't
uh
seen it yet, Coach.
it's
Go ahead and break the news.
they announced they have Cheryl Reed from the Minnesota Lynx. They have Mike
Mm-hmm.
Thibault from the Washington Mystics. One of our favorites, Kara Lawson from Duke University, and Johnny Taylor from Texas A&M made the roster as the assistant coaches for the national team. So that's exciting. That's exciting. Um, I believe it's a go around for at least two of those coaches. So I mean, it's just a good time for women's college basketball right now.
Yeah,
Real
it's a
good
good time.
time.
It's a good time. I think that's a good segue into kind of where we at right now. We do a lot of SEC. We do a lot of SEC coverage, and we got a live show coming up tonight where we gonna do a live react for the first 16 selection special on ESPN, and we're gonna try to get close to
But
stick around at least for the a few minutes for the start of the game. So check us out for that. We on our push for 1,000 subscribers. But as we start to go into March, what we want to do is we want to start breaking down some of these teams that have been kind of like surprising us, kind of starting to get rolling. Seem like they are trending in the right direction going into March. And so one of the first teams that coach wanted to take a look at. Well, coach picked a team, and then I kind of threw another team in there. So we're gonna see what coach is ready for. So it'll be a surprise for coach today. This show, but I think he'll like it. So let's go. We're gonna start off with who is Oregon State, and let's just let's talk about them. So when we look at Oregon State, I'll be real quick here. We got the leaders, Reagan Beers, and if I'm saying her name wrong, forgive me. And then we got Talia von Ohofen. I don't know if I'm saying her name right either.
that's
But
correct.
we got Reagan Beers coming in, and she's averaging. This is a 6'4" sophomore out of Littleton, Colorado.
Hmm.
She's averaging just about 18 points, 11 rebounds, walking double.
Hmm.
Uh, she's averaging just about 2 assists, and she's shooting about 67% from the floor. Okay,
Hmm.
that's Reagan Beers.
Hmm.
And then we got Talia von Ohofen.
Hmm.
I'm trying, y'all. This is a 5'11" junior, and she's coming out of Kennewick, Washington.
Hmm.
She's averaging about 11 points. I give her that 4 rebounds, 5 assists. So she's affecting all areas of the game. This is a junior guard, and
Hmm.
she's shooting about 40% from the floor. And now in the most recent game, Tamia Gardner
Hmm.
is a forward, 6'3" sophomore out of Ogden, Utah.
Mm-hmm.
So chipped in, but she's averaging about 10 points, about 6 rebounds. I give her 2 assists. She's shooting about 44% from the floor. Okay, so they're ranked number 17. They're coming off a surprising win against Colorado, y'all. A surprising historic win against Colorado, where it was a defensive performance, coach. They held Colorado to the lowest scoring output of the season. It was a 65-59 victory for them. And this was the Beavers' 5th consecutive victory in their first ever road win against a top 5 opponent. So they've been knocking off some big names. Okay, you had Talia, she chipped in with 18 points. Reagan and Tamia each had 12. Beers had 12 rebounds. So she's walking double. She's showcasing that. And Colorado, they try to make a push in the fourth quarter, but they couldn't get it done. So tell me what you're thinking about Oregon State and who you think they are going into March.
Excellent segue. I think this is one of those teams, and what I like about Oregon State is that they're playing in the Pac-12. You heard Cess and I talk about how the Pac-12, the successful teams are downhill. Oregon State is one of the exceptions. They make you play at their pace. One other honorable mention on that offense, who's leading them in blocks, is Kelsey Reese. She's a forward. So they almost have a makeshift twin tower effect down there when you have Beers and Reese down there controlling the paint. And that's what Cess was alluding to. They really bottle you up and sag down in that paint, and they're going to stop any of the paint scoring. But that there's another one, Donovan Hunter. That's another guard. She's averaging like 7 points a game, 2 rebounds. But here's a number that stood out to me: 3.5 assists. She's shooting 32% from 3, but Tamia Gardner is shooting 40% from 3-point land. They have somebody else, Lily Hansford, that's coming off the bench, while only averaging close to 5 points, but shooting 49% from the 3-point line. So they're one of those. I call it a specialized team. They use their bigs. Regan Beers consistently gets her points in the paint, despite being in a fast conference. This is one of those teams that can beat you in different ways. I've seen games where the guards controlled the pace. I've seen games where they said, you know what, we're going to pound this team down low with Beers. So they have several ways that they can beat you. And this is one of those teams that, as a matter of fact, right now, they actually have an outside chance of winning the Pac-12. They have an outside chance of winning it. Here's the scary part. If they don't win the Pac-12, where do you seed Oregon State? Do you put them at the nasty 4 seed? Nobody wants to see that 4 seed. Nobody wants to see a team this good in the first round of the women's college basketball tournament. I'll double down on that. Nobody wants to see this team in the second round of 32 of the women's college basketball tournament, because you really do not know which team you're going to see, because they can beat you either way. I think they're a very dangerous team, and if they by some chance win the Pac-12, this could mess everything up. I'm going to hesitantly say that they're a bracket buster, but I think that's kind of disrespecting what they're doing this year, because they're a formidable team. To beat Colorado, and we talked about the buzzsaw that Colorado is, the way they've been running through the Pac-12, and to do that and still be on the winning streak, I think that says a lot about this team. And I'm looking forward to what they're going to do. Again, remember, everybody, we're talking about certain tournaments we're paying attention to. I personally am going to look at the Big Ten tournament just because I like the Big Ten, but not on everybody's radar. I understand that. I accept that, with the exception of Ohio State and Iowa. But aside from that SEC tournament, anybody look me in the face, look in this camera, jump in the comments and tell me that you are not intrigued by this Pac-12 tournament that's coming up very shortly. It's going to be a gauntlet of plays, and it's going to determine a lot of the seeds in the women's college basketball tournament. And right in the middle of it is Oregon State. I think Oregon State in the tournament makes it to the Sweet 16. I just called my shot. I think they make it to the Sweet 16.
Coach, I'm gonna wait and call my shot. I need to see a little bit more out of Oregon State. Definitely one of the top teams in the Pac-12. They had second place, 1.5 games back from Stanford. But 4 to 6 next games they got are at home, and they're against USC and UCLA. 4 out of the 6 games are at home against UCLA and USC, right? So I, I want to see what they do against UCLA with Betts back. I want to see what they do against USC with Juju just being Juju. And then I'll have a feel for what Oregon State is. They definitely have a lot of size and length. But I'm gonna wait to pass judgment after I see what they do here.
I love that you brought up
the end
that
of the
game.
season.
I love that you brought up that game with USC. That's a good pull. That's going to be a good game. It's going to be a good litmus test game. What is that length going to do against Juju? Very interested to see. And I'm trying to see. So let's be clear. Their first meeting, Oregon State beat them. They beat them by 8.
Mm-hmm.
Early in the season, though. Early was like March 1st to be exact. They beat them by 8. But as we all know, Juju was just
starting to
giving her away.
Now she kind of on cruise control, just calling like I see it, Coach Juju.
How about me again, Jukebox? Where did that come from? What you say to me, Jukebox? What you say to me, Jukebox?
Oh my goodness, what movie is that?
Oh, what?
I thought you said something totally different when you said that.
Again. Eyeball me. Eyeball me again, Jukebox?
Man, who you talking about? Cause see, I'm thinking about Power right now. I'm totally on a whole nother character.
So it's another character saying eyeball me again. This is what Jukebox doing, singing. Jukebox minding his business, just singing. And he said, eyeball me, and you eyeballing me, Jukebox? Jukebox minding his business, singing along with the choir.
You stumped me on that one, Coach. Who is that?
That was in Get On Up when James Brown was locked up.
So you got me on that one. Now, James Brown movie I only saw like 2 times, but it's like a classic. Yeah, Get On Up. I only saw it like 2 times.
Oh, we gotta watch that again. Matter of fact,
I was so blown away at his story. Period. Like, yes. James had some bread, and he was real smart. Man, we getting off topic, but yeah, we gonna talk about that one.
If you see us doing like this, that means Juju to win off in the game.
Eyeball me again, Jukebox. I won't forget that one. So we got a pretty good idea of where we think Oregon State is gonna be. Let's take a look at a team we haven't talked much about. Who is the University of Texas? Let's talk about the Texas Longhorns, y'all. They in the Big 12. We ain't talked a lot about the Big 12. They 23-3, y'all. 23-3. They led by that freshman Madison Booker. She averaged 15.5 points and 4.6 assists, y'all. And then you got Taylor Jones chipping in with 7 rebounds. You got Shaylee Gonzalez chipping in with just about 2 assists, and you got Taylor Jones coming in with 2 blocks. So, but then you got this Rory Harmon, who's a 5'6" junior out of Houston, Texas, y'all, guard, is chipping in 14 points. I'm gonna give her 6 rebounds. I'm gonna give her 8 assists, and she's shooting 52 from the floor. 14, 6, and 8, 52 from the floor. Rory Harmon, okay. Taylor Jones is giving you a 6'4" senior out of Forney, Texas. She's giving you 13, 7, and 62 from the floor. And then Madison, I told you, she's giving you 15.5. So she's giving you 16, and she's giving you 5 assists. And she's giving you 5 rebounds and 44 from the floor. Okay, and they ain't been doing nothing but playing basketball. They've been playing basketball just as quiet as can be. I've been missing them. I've been missing them, but. So they're coming off a game against Houston where they gave them the blues. They gave Houston Cougars the blues, y'all. The 82-66. Madison Booker gave them 23, 7 and 4. Aaliyah Moore gave them 12, 8 and 1. And then Dayana, I'm not sure if I'm saying her name right. Gaston gave them 21 and 8. Gave them all they could handle. And I don't know what to think about Texas because I haven't watched them a lot. But when I'm looking, I'm glad to see that Madison Booker, one of the phenomenal freshmen that we talked about at the beginning of the year, is really just having a monster season and really staking her name down there in Texas. She had 23 points and 7 rebounds, like I said in this last game, and Coach Schaefer won his 400th collegiate game. They shot 56 from the field, and they just dominated the paint, 54-22. Gaston, who came off the bench, was gave kind of like a dominant performance, right? She went 100% from free throw line, which is important going into the tournament, especially with the way that everybody else, all these other teams, I keep saying, work on your free throws, work on your free throws. So it seemed like Texas is pretty sound. Seemed like they got their fundamentals together, or at least some of the players. Like I said, I haven't watched them play, but this true freshman, she led the team throughout the game. Just impressive from start to finish. They got an offense that dominates the paint that's very different than what we see from a lot of these other teams. They not so much run and gun, but it's kind of like rebounding and paint points and just put your hard hat on and go to work. And they're able to kind of just get the lead at the beginning of the game and keep it. So I'm excited to make sure that I get to take a look at them going into the end of the season and getting ready to go into their tournament. But tell me what you think about them and the Big 12 overall, Coach.
Okay, now I'm glad you brought them up. Another team that I kind of glanced at, but here's something that stood out to me. I look at they're 3-0 on neutral courts. That's big. That means that the moment is not too big, or at least right now, as far as them playing on neutral court, they're 3-0. Here's what's actually equally interesting. They're 8-1 away. They've only lost one game on the road. And that game on the road was at let me get it right. It was at Kansas State. And we know Kansas State is pretty good. Their only other two losses came from Baylor. And the only true loss that I'm looking at on their resume that they probably should have won, that they wish they had back, they lost to Oklahoma. And it was a nationally televised game, too, at home. Oklahoma came in there and beat them. And I don't even think Oklahoma was ranked at the time. I don't know. Don't quote me on that. But so, like you mentioned, their presence at 3-0 neutral, 8-1 away. They're on a current 5-game winning streak. The way they're winning games, like you said, I think that they're kind of one of those, I don't want to say disrespected, but just kind of like not on anybody's radar. They also just beat the team we were talking about, Oklahoma State. They beat them by 10 in Oklahoma. So it's like they're going on the road and beating teams. And then, they got their lick back. They beat Baylor at home. So it's like they're very versatile. They're about 8 deep on their team, as you already mentioned. When you look at their team, as far as like on the court, you are surprised that a lot of their points are generated from down low. But they're another one of those teams. Now, the Big 12 overall, you got some teams in the Big 12. Of course, we got Kansas State. We got they beat Oklahoma State, not Oregon State. Correct.
Okay.
They
Got you.
Oklahoma State. But they got some in the Big 12 overall. You got some competition. You got Baylor. You got Kansas State. You got Oklahoma State. I mean, you got some teams in there.
Would you say that Texas is your team that you like out of the Big 12, or you like somebody else out of the Big 12 better?
It's tough because Kansas State is tough.
Kansas State just got beat though too, didn't they, Coach?
Yeah, they did. They came to the tree, but I'll say that for our live shows because I like the audience to sing along with the tree. But
okay.
Yes, I'm gonna go with Texas. I'm gonna go with Texas. I like their versatility.
Now, Oklahoma's leading. Oklahoma is in first place in the Big 12 right now.
Yeah.
And Texas is having, 5
games. Oklahoma is number. Okay, I'm sorry, I mixed them up. So Oklahoma is number 1.
Yeah, from what I'm seeing here, y'all correct me in the comments if I'm wrong. But what I believe is that Oklahoma is number 1 in Big 12 standings, and Texas is tied for 2 with Kansas State and West Virginia. And we got about 5 games or so left, and Texas and Oklahoma are going to get down again February 28th. But they having some trouble closing that gap on Oklahoma. So going to be interesting, even with them still winning. They're 10-3 in the Big 12. So
Well, that adds another layer to what we were talking about. So their losses are to the top 3 teams.
Yeah, they took some losses to
I
some,
mean, but and they weren't bad losses though. I wish I had really tuned in. I think I saw a smidge of that Oklahoma game because it was nationally televised, and they only lost by 4. That was at home. That was a close one.
okay.
The Baylor game, I think that one wasn't as close. They made it closer toward the end. They lost by 6. And then that game against Kansas State was another close one. That was a nationally televised game. They only lost by 3, and that was in Kansas State. So, yeah, I like Texas. I like Texas because it's almost like a small, medium, large, or it's like I want the medium. To me, they're in the middle of Kansas State and Oklahoma, in my opinion. So, yeah, I like Texas. That's a good pull, Seth. That's a good pull. Another team to watch. Another team where, again, where do you see them? Let's say they end up number 3 in the Big 12. This is all hypothetical. Where are you going to put them at in the tournament?
Well, I'm looking at them, and Texas has been, it looks like, pretty much a solid 5. A solid 5. A solid 5 ranking.
3, 4, and 5 as we
since
said.
November, but since November they've been like a solid 5, and so I'm gonna say that I think that's a pretty good number for them. I think
3
they
seed,
are a 5. So 5, I give them a 3 seed, but it's also going to depend if they go in here and win this Big 12 because
right.
you're 10-3. So if you go in here and win the Big 12, maybe I look at you as like a 4. I think they're gonna be a 4 or 5. I think they're gonna be a 4 or 5. I don't even know if that would be a 3.
They win the Big 12. You don't think they get higher than the 3 seed?
If they win the Big 12, yes, absolutely they go higher. But not winning the Big 12 and where they at right now, I see them as a 4 or a 5 team, 4 or 5 seed. I wouldn't even give them the 3 only because they lost at Oklahoma, and Oklahoma was ranked less. Oklahoma was ranked 23, so they lost to a lower ranked seed. They lost to Kansas State. Kansas State was ranked 7. They lost to another lower ranked seed that they lost to. I take a big look at the ranking matches, the matchups. They lost also to Baylor. Baylor was ranked lower than them. So when I'm looking at some of their wins, Jackson State, Arizona, they beat UConn, as they should have. UConn was ranked 15, but those are some of the things that factor into what I'm looking at. So yeah, 4 or 5. I would give them a 4 or 5 just because they lost to some teams that I don't think that they should have, especially Oklahoma. And it looks like they got Iowa State left. They've got Texas.
Yeah, they got Texas Tech.
They got Iowa State, Texas Tech, UCF,
Oklahoma,
UCF,
UCF,
and BYU.
Yeah.
So that Oklahoma game is going to be important. So right now I'm saying they're 4 or 5. I'm saying they're 4 or 5.
Yeah, like you said, I know they circled that Oklahoma game, and then that Big 12 championship starts in March. So yeah. Oh, and it's in Kansas City. Interesting.
So we know that they do well on the neutral court. So that may be
good pull, Seth. Good pull. Texas is another one. That's a good pull.
Texas is one to definitely watch. I think that they're well balanced.
Yes.
Like I said, I like the fundamentals. I feel like the coaches. He's strong. He has a good. He has the ear of his locker room. I feel like everybody knows their roles. Everybody's comfortable with what they're doing, and he's allowing the freshmen to kind of just develop and kind of just go. He's not putting any reins on her. So I think they're gonna be in a good position. Like I said, especially if they win that Big 12. Solid 4 or 5 team coming out. It could definitely be some bracket busters. I don't know if people I don't know if people have been watching them. It's hard enough to try to watch the Pac-12. I'm not hearing anybody talk about Big 12.
Yeah.
So unless they're playing an SEC team or one of the ACC teams or something like that, so they're gonna be a sleeper. They're definitely gonna be a sleeper. Nothing like a Cinderella because I think at a 5 you're not a Cinderella, but I just think I think they coming in and they everybody they forgot about them. And they gonna show up. Maybe they might show up best dressed in their bracket. You talk about when you talk about experience, you understand
Yeah.
everything that they've been through. So, they got the chance to show up, like I said, and really make some noise. And I like I think I like the balance of their team. I like that
Right.
they got some veterans, they got a freshman, they got everybody, they got a solid core, and then they got people that are chipping in kind of regularly. So they got people that they can go to. It looks like from looking at the stats and paper that when they need a closer, they know where they're going, and they definitely have some go-to plays that get them through some tough games. So excited to see what they're gonna be able to bring into March, but definitely want to see how they finish up. But I expect them to finish strong. I don't see much on their
Nah, just the
much
Oklahoma
on their
game.
on the schedule in the way of competition.
Yeah,
But
they're one of those teams, like you said. It's like, are they really a bracket buster when you look at their record, what they've done, the conference that they're in? Like you said, the conference does not get a lot of attention. Are they really a bracket buster like that? Now, I would consider them a bracket buster if they make it to like the Elite Eight. Yeah, they busted
I think
somebody's
they're a
bracket.
bracket buster in the sense of like, how some of them Jordan colorways come out. You like, I don't know if I want that one until you see it in person, and then it's like, ooh,
see it on
gotta
foot.
have it. Yeah, but you didn't bet on that one. You didn't go in the. You didn't jump into the lottery to try to get it. Right? Nobody's jumping in the lottery about University of Texas, but when you see them live, it's gonna be like, ooh, I might have should have got that one. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's that type of feel for me sometimes with teams, and that's what I'm thinking about University of Texas. It's gonna be that tennis shooter. Just like, I might I'm gonna have to pay that GOAT money for it. I could have had it in the lottery, kind of like that. But it's just my
that's
take.
funny because I immediately thought about my Lightning Force by Jordan. Okay. I was like, man, I'm not getting those. Like that color, what? I tried them on. It was like, oh, I need to have these. The gray on top of the Lightning, like the yellow. Like, I never thought they would work. But I looked at them more and more. I said, I kind of like these.
Now that's how I feel about my chocolate and suede, my chocolate soft leather Air Forces.
Well,
and it was like,
those.
It was like,
really?
Wow, gotta have them. And then it's like, nah, I got them. It's like, I don't want. I gotta break them out right at that right moment. You can't just waste it. You can't waste them, you know. So,
and when you wear them, people are gonna be like, man, those are cold. You're gonna be like, yeah, just a little something I picked up.
You walking around here looking like a black and mild. I'm trying to tell you, Coach. Put some khaki on with it or something. You're around here looking like a black and mild, for real.
Yeah, exactly.
So we know who University of Texas is. We went all over the place and back around. Big 12. This is my favorite right now. Again, I haven't watched a lot of the Big 12, but I'm watching University of Texas. I'm just excited about the freshmen anyway.
Yeah.
We started our journey talking about some phenomenal freshmen, and Madison Booker was definitely one that we brought up. Have not had an opportunity to get back and give this young lady a lot of coverage, but from the numbers, Ridgeland, Mississippi has to be happy because she is showing up and doing that work. And again, here I am talking about Mississippi again. It's something that water down there in this basketball. I'm gonna get down to the bottom of it. It's something going on down there. So listen, and she's not by any means leading any categories as far as points, rebound, assist, field goal percentage overall in college hoops. I understand that. But the impact that she's making on the team, the hustle plays that she makes, the stuff that she's learning to do and showing that she's comfortable to do, that doesn't show up in the stat boxes, really impressive to me just from what I've seen from highlights. So again, excited to see the freshman lock in and get it done, especially wearing that number 35. She got a lot to live up to. But
and that's the thing too. You all, though our fans know. We look at freshmen a little different, maybe from a lot of the different shows that you may have tuned into. We look at, when you think about the overall, you have someone that was literally a senior in high school, regardless of what they were doing. Most of them, obviously, if they're top recruits, they led their respective high schools in scoring or whatever the case may be. But to make the leap from high school to college, a collegiate level, and still have a contribution, that's impressive. Like Seth said, some have come in like a Hidalgo and said, look, this is my team. I'm taking over. Like Juju, look, this is my team. You have some freshmen that came in and actually came in better than they were in high school. Like this is
Not
what
only
this is
that,
what it is.
Coach, I don't mean to cut you off, but
No,
let
no,
me
go
throw this in too. They haven't hit this freshman wall. None of them.
right,
You know,
right,
all of the ones that we dubbed as phenomenal and with a high ceiling haven't hit any freshman walls. Now,
right.
you know, I don't know if they'll have. I'm not wishing any sophomore slumps on them or anything like that. But as far as being able to step up and do the work, for the most part, they're doing the work, and I like that they're playing themselves into college shape.
Mm-hmm.
And I know that we'll definitely see a difference in these ladies' physique and
Mm-hmm.
their conditioning
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
going into next season. But they're continuing to just play and pick up the game and get, I think, some valuable real game experience for the college level for
Yeah,
these
yeah.
true freshmen.
And I love to look at it because I like to look at how they fit into the system they're in. Like for example, for Wiley, I think we all agree if Wiley was on any other team, high profile or not, she would probably have second or third leading scorer, assists, all of that, because she's a phenomenal talent. But you put her in the talent pipeline of a South Carolina, and we're still seeing the flashes and glimpses because that's exactly what Coach Staley wants to do. Bring
And
her
I want
along. You
to
know what I mean?
say, Malaysia may be the third leading scorer. She's averaging like 12 points a game, so she may be
And
third.
yeah, and look at that. Look at how she's being brought along, though.
She may be third leading scorer. You know,
You,
she's definitely that instant offense. You know, off the bench, almost like a
yeah,
Vinny microwave, like a
yeah,
microwave.
yeah.
You know,
You
just
give that
go.
talent to any other coach in women's collegiate basketball right now, and not only is Fuali starting, but she's probably putting up some heavy numbers. But
All
I
right,
like to see the
statistically,
dynamics. I like to see the dynamics of the freshmen, where they come in, what they're doing, how they fit into their system. Many of them are playing with experienced teams, like meaning a lot of juniors and seniors, fifth-year players, the portal, all of that. Think about that, everybody. Freshmen coming in, competing with NIL, competing with people coming from different teams, and you're still able to land a significant role on the team as a freshman. That's very commendable, and that's why we talk
well,
about it.
speak volumes for their talent
Mm-hmm.
level. Speaks volumes
Mm-hmm.
for their talent level. So, um, we definitely are keeping our eyes on University of Texas, and like I said, they've been a solid five. But I, you know, I'm a Gamecocks fan, and I'm a Gamecocks fan, and I try not to be biased. You know, I try to call it like it is for real, and take the good with the bad. But I'm not switching up on my team, but I need for everybody to understand that it's some disrespect going on in women's college hoops right now.
Mm-hmm.
It's some disrespect going on, and what I'm referring to is this disrespectful 13
Mm-hmm.
that y'all got the defending champs ranked. And everybody's gonna jump in the comments and say they played a cupcake schedule. It's a lot of cupcake schedules out there. It's a lot of Duncan Hines and Betty Crockers out there. If we pull them up, okay,
Mm-hmm.
everybody got a Christian school or two on their schedule. And
Mm-hmm.
everybody, a lot of us had a HBCU that didn't have a chance, but we wanted to show some love anyway. So it's a lot of it's some. And if you didn't have a cupcake schedule, you might have had a couple cookies on there, though. That's all I'm saying. Everybody. I haven't seen anybody that's just like, "Ooh, every week it's just back to back tough games, tough games, tough games." I haven't seen that. Now, there's been some great matchups, and it's
Mm-hmm.
been some 60, 70 strength of schedules. I think, but not a lot of back to back tough schedules. And hopefully, as we continue to get these freshmen going and rolling, we're gonna see some real clashes. Excuse me, put up on these schedules. I don't want to see I don't want to see any of this funny stuff like we got going on in boxing. Like let's see the battles that we want to see, but some disrespect at the defending champs, and I don't typically do a lot of talking about LSU uh, in a from a supportive standpoint, but let's just be clear. Okay, they're 21-4.
Mm-hmm.
They're second in the SEC, which is for me one of the toughest conferences out there.
Mm-hmm.
If not, if y'all disagree, please tell me some conferences that you think are tougher than them, because I got SEC and then that Pac-12, and then we could talk about it from there. Some Big Ten teams, some ACC, some ACC teams, but I digress. But so we got Angel Reese leading the team, a walking double with 20 and 13. 20 and 13 is what I'm gonna say. You got Haley Van Lith leading the team with 4 assists. You got Morrow chipping in with 3 steals, and surprisingly, at the guard position, 1 block. And we know Angel's averaging 19 and a half, like I said. So 2013, 3 assists, shooting 51 from the floor. 6'3" junior out of Baltimore. We got 5'7" senior out of Wenatchee. I'm probably saying it wrong. Washington, Haley Van Lith. She's giving you 12. She's giving you 2. She's giving you 4. She's shooting 40 from the floor. Anissa Morrow, 6'1" junior out of Chi-Town, giving you 17, 10, 2, is shooting 48 from the floor. Now, the LSU women are coming off a win against Alabama. It was a tough battle for them. And people may say, okay, LSU had some trouble with some teams that they shouldn't have had trouble with. And my pushback on that is going to be, everybody, to me, if everybody would agree that the LSU team that we're seeing right now isn't the LSU team that Kim Mulkey planned on putting on the floor at the beginning of the season. If we can agree that those 2 teams look very different. Okay, at the beginning of the season, I don't think that Mulkey, she definitely didn't see the injury coming, and I don't think she saw the exit of Poole. So she saw a different type of support, a different type of bench, and a different type of depth that she would have to be able to make her run at defending this and coaching to defend this championship. And so while she's not up for anything like a coach of the year for me, masterful job that she's done for them to be at 21. What did I say? 21 and 4.
21 and 4.
21 and 4. With playing 6 and a maybe. Okay, playing 6 and a maybe. And let's be real about that. They're playing 6 and a maybe. And I laugh. I made a joke about being up 45 and going in the portal if I couldn't play, and I meant that, but. Hear me out. 6 and a maybe is what they going into every game with, and then they seeing who is the maybe. It could be Del Rosario, it could be who is the maybe that's going to show up. So I want to give a lot of credit there for them just even being 21 and 4, and then we had the dismissal of Poole. We had Angel was going like Carmen Sandiego. So a lot of stuff went on, but every game, this young lady shows up and tries to lead her team to victory. Now, they were down at the half against Alabama. Angel almost dropped 30. She put in 27 and 19. 27 and 19, and then Flau'jae added 16, and they had a 30 to 9 run in the third that put the game out of reach. Morrow, she had a double, 15 and 16. These are 13 and 10. Are the double doubles that she had over the last 2 games against Vanderbilt and I believe Alabama. Correct me in the chat if I'm wrong, y'all. I don't mean no harm. But they continue to showcase an attack. They continue to beat teams with, like I said, this 6 and a possible. I just don't understand the 13th ranking. You can't tell me that there are 12 teams better than LSU in women's college basketball today. You can't tell me that. Not if we looking at overall talent, and I'm looking at again everything that they've been through to get to where they are right now, and to be 21 and 4, I think is a big deal, and 13 is disrespectful. So, but let me hear your opinion on that, Coach.
First of all, great intro on that. It's disrespectful, and you said something in one of our earlier shows. You said that I think that they're not taking into account that as a defending champs, you're going to get everybody's best game. I challenge everybody to look at the losses that they've had, with the exception of Yeah.
If they showed up in the church league would try to kill them. You understand?
Right. Right.
You understand me?
Right.
The defending champs. They showed up at
Exactly.
the church league would be playing. You'd be like, oh, we ain't seen the church
Exactly.
league play like this. So come on with it. Great point.
The
Thank
only the only loss that I would say, as far as like was the loss to South Carolina. South Carolina is a superior team. That was a legitimate, not well, let me say all of them were legitimate losses, but you get what I'm saying. I challenge you to look at the losses they had to other teams. And those teams had players that had what we call out of body experiences and scored highs in areas that they've never scored for the rest of the season because they were playing the defending champs. I'll add this. I'll say what nobody else wants to say. I think that LSU, they are the villains in the public eye. They are the villains from their head coach down to Angel Reese because of the NIL or whatever the case may be, being bigger than the team. Like you said, pulling a Carmen Sandiego, not being around. Those outside distractions, you cannot tell me are not playing a role in the overall depiction of what the LSU team is. I do believe that a lot of their struggles and talent are being ignored. They're looking at different factors that have nothing to do with basketball. I think there's a lot of attention on Van Leaf. I've been very candid on my position on that, but I still have to respect that this young lady is coming out and fighting hard every game to help her team win. Do I like the way they're doing it? No, but
well,
it
coach,
is
wait a
very
minute. Hold on.
disrespectful. Yeah.
Wait, coach. Wait. Now, because Haley, let's let HVL. Let me. I want to say this about Haley, and y'all jump in the chat and correct me if I'm wrong, and I'm willing to go back and look at these games. But LSU to me could very easily be 24-1.
Yep.
And I would say that it's a possibility that the three losses, those other three losses outside of the South Carolina loss, could very well be due to depth and the injury, but also to the HVL experience at point guard. And
Exactly.
so now that we put her in a more comfortable position,
Mm-hmm.
to have those games back, I don't know. I don't know what the outcome would look like, but I'm almost positive that the HVL experiment at point guard definitely had an effect on the outcome of those three losses, as well as the South Carolina loss. That could have played out different without her at point guard. But I wanted to throw that out there.
Right. No, and I'll say this. I think that when it comes down to the losses that they've had, I agree. But look at those 12 teams rather, with the exception of South Carolina, who's undefeated. Look who they lost to. There's quite a few of those teams that have multiple losses to teams that are not ranked. So as you mentioned, to be the defending champs, there's not a lot of respect there. That's why I cannot wait until the SEC tournament. Now, another interesting thing that I was looking at this week, I know we're going to get into this later on this evening, but they're projected to be from a 3 even down to a 6 seed in the tournament, which is very
I'm gonna
interesting to me.
I'm going to be real surprised if they're not picked in this initial 16.
Very
if they're not
interesting.
if they're not mentioned. But moving on from the disrespect here, I wanted to end the show on a lighter note. I can't necessarily say on a lighter note, but on a different type of note. And the basis here at Cess Talk Sports and now joining the conversation is always about the progression and the betterment of women's basketball. That's our focus here, and we appreciate all the support. And y'all know we are on a push to 1,000 new subscribers on the channel for my birthday month. And so, if this is the kind of conversation that you like, please hit that subscribe button, ring the notification bell, like the videos, share the conversation, stay engaged in the comments because we're always responding back. But I wanted to end the show by just taking a moment to give a shout out to Angel Reese and to talk about Angel Reese as a treasure in a lot of ways. Definitely as a piece of Black history, and definitely as a player who, even when she's not, even if she hasn't had her best game, what I like about Angel is, I've never seen her really hang her head. Win or lose, and I was really impressed at the end of the South Carolina game. And I mentioned this on another video. If you saw it, forgive me, but it really struck me that at the end of the South Carolina game, you took the loss at home. You took an L that you didn't want to take. You fouled out of the game. And as competitive and as fiery as you are on the floor, it would have been really easy for you to be like, fuck that, and walk off and not shake hands and not do any of that. But not only did you shake hands, you also took the time. I saw this young lady walk around to every side of the floor and applaud the fans that came out for support.
Yep.
And took the time to really just acknowledge the fact that, to show the love back. And I appreciated that about her, and that stuck with me about her. But it got me to thinking about her overall impact on women's college basketball. And listen, the national title game set a record, right? For viewers. And I look back at Angel, and I believe last season she got the record for the most double doubles in a single season in women's college hoops with 34. So a walking double double. And I know it's a lot of stuff that people say she has to work on. They say she has to get in WNBA shape. She needs a jump shot. She needs this. But for all intents and purposes, what she does right now is working for her and her team, and for what she does got her a national championship. Whether you thought Iowa should have been there or not, at the end of the day, you played the damn team that shows up and is in front of you and earns the right to be there. And those two earned the right to be there. And LSU took care of business, and she was a big part of that.
Mm-hmm.
But she calls herself the Bayou Barbie. She was the Baltimore Barbie first. She had 70,000 followers when she got to LSU. Just 70,000 followers coming out of Maryland, and she was a hell of a ball player in Maryland. If you don't believe me, go back and look at the Maryland versus South Carolina game. Some of the other games too. She came to LSU as the #1 impact transfer in the country, and she delivered. Mm-hmm. First year she got there, correct me if I'm wrong. First year she got there, she delivered a national title. And again, I'm a South Carolina fan, and I felt like it should have been us playing LSU, and I feel like that would have been different. But we didn't take care of business, and they played who showed up at the national championship to play, and they earned that. Okay, you had to ring her. So one of the things that I found out about her that I thought was really cool is that she took, when Baltimore went home and played Coppin State, that was the first time a defending national champion has played at a historically black college or university in history. Mm-hmm. And Coppin State was, by her bringing LSU home to Baltimore to Coppin State, they were able to sell out their 4,100 seat arena for the first time ever. At 4,100 seats. And understand, I think in South Carolina, UConn, some of these other places, we talking about 11,000, 12,000, 15,000. So the amount of revenue that this young lady was able to generate for her city, for that HBCU, for her state, we got to be able to give her some props for that, for the eyes that she brings to basketball. I just wanted to be able to take some time and talk about a few of the things off the court that the young lady has done, because some of these games that Angel Reese is playing in, quite frankly, are doing better than some of the pro team games that are on TV. Mm-hmm. Some teams you're just not tuning in to watch. If it's Chicago versus the Wizards and LSU versus anybody else, you're probably going to watch the LSU game if you're just a basketball fan, okay? I believe that she has a court named after her, and if I'm wrong, y'all correct me in the comments. Doing my research, that was one of the things that came up. She got an ESPY for being a breakout athlete of the year. You can't say enough about the impact that she has to have on the bottom line for women's college hoops right now. I don't know. Does she have over 15 million followers or something now?
It's very close to it. And I think that you're going to see Angel Reese. I think she's going to go to the WNBA after this season. I've seen a lot of chatter about it depends on what they do in the tournament. I do not think that that's the case. I think that Angel Reese is a top 5 pick in the WNBA draft. I think that she will show and transform on how the NIL independent business-minded spirit can carry over into the WNBA. Cess, you've spoken a lot about how the reasoning on a player of her stature staying and going, and how that same money, endorsement, prestige that you have would just quadruple if you brought that to the WNBA. I think that Angel Reese is going to be the first player that does that. Instead of saying, well, I'm making, even though, let's say, she was the player who quoted and said, I'm having more success and there's more opportunities because I'm at a collegiate level as opposed to going to the WNBA. But I think that that time has passed. The Bayou Barbie is going to bring her talents to the WNBA. I think it's a no-brainer in my personal opinion because of what she brings with her. This draft is going to be the draft that she should go because of the other players' profile that are going to go. Don't think for 1 minute that she does not want to come out and challenge everybody. She hears the chatter about being not being a top 10 pick and not doing the things she should do. And should she go into the WNBA? Can she play with the players in the WNBA? But like you said, I'll add to that piece of class that you mentioned as far as after that game. I also noticed after she did the walk to every corner of the arena, she still took the time, huddled up with her players. I think they sing the school song or something like that. She led that charge right there in front of everybody, rocking back and forth for her team. Although probably visibly, although very upset about losing that game, still showed the respect to the university and the fans that were there. Those are qualities and intangibles that bode well in the WNBA. And why I say that is because the pro players will tell you, if you have a loss, you shake it off. It's business. It's the next day. We see Angel Reese carrying that attitude into right now in her college career. She's taking those. If it's a loss, hey, next game. Let's get ready for the next game.
I'm gonna have to push back, Coach.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to push back. I'm sorry. I got to push back on her going. And I'm sorry. I think I cut you off because now I'm hearing you. It was some dead space, and now I'm hearing you talking. So I think it was a tech issue. So my apologies. But I'm pushing back on her going to the league just because we were on a live, and in the chat someplace somebody said, and I still haven't been able to confirm it, that she has an injured shoulder that pops out.
Yeah, the right shoulder. Right, I remember that.
Now for me, if Angel does go out, she's going to be drafted to a sorry team that's going to be relying on her to put butts in the seats. She's not going to get an opportunity to rest that shoulder to get that shoulder healthy. I would rather her come back in her collegiate year, senior year, win or lose for the daddy, and be able to rest her shoulder and be able to get right to be able to go into the league and really bang. Because we're asking her to, if she's going to come in and break the bank. And I'm thinking that the next 2 draft classes that go into the WNBA are what I call break the bank drafts, because they're such high quality players and players that are demanding such high NIL deals that you're going to have to be able to make some type of adjustments to be able to get these players paid in the league. So this is a real time of change here, changing of the guard in the WNBA. But for me, I would have Angel come back for 1 year. And even if that means, not playing a lot next season, being able to get the shoulders right, being able to make sure that her health is right, being able to then, work on her body, build up her muscles and her strength and her endurance. Although, the way she runs, of course, with 6 in the possible, we know that she's in pretty good shape and she's got a lot of cardio. But to give herself a chance to go into the league with 100% healthy body, to be able to bang against the Asia Wilsons, the Aaliyah Bosons, the Breonna Stewarts, the Jonquel Joneses, the Brittany Grinders, those players that we're going to be asking her to come in and try to play against. So for me, I would just push back just for that reason. But other than that, come on out. But I take that back. to be able to work on her body, and then also, like I said, improving those areas of her game that she could polish up, and maybe some things that are just lacking, or she has kind of taken out of her arsenal. Sometimes I'm a boxing fan, so sometimes you see a boxer and they throw a punch and it looks like they hurt their hand. They may have broke a hand, and now they, instead of throwing the left and the right, they throwing all rights. She may have took some things out of her arsenal just because of the shoulder and shooting more lefty than righty or whatever. Because I think she's ambidextrous, but
Mm-hmm.
maybe she took some stuff out of the arsenal that getting healthy will allow her to put back into her bag of tricks. This active. So just wanted to push back there for health
No.
and
Mm-hmm.
development.
And I have a name for you as to why I think she's going to come out. And I've seen several mock drafts where she's projected to go 8. Tanisha Wright, head coach of the Atlanta Dream, would love and flourish a talent like Angel Reese. You're talking about a team that she could come into, and they have 3 players that are more than 7 years, and that being Tina Charles, Cheyenne Parker, and Ariel Powers. 12 years, 9 years, and 8 years. Ironically, Cheyenne Parker is a forward, and Tina Charles is a center. The other forwards are Letitia, am I here? Are there? Nia Coffey, who we know, Naz Hillman, and Haley Jones. You could get an Angel Reese and bring her along on that team. So she doesn't have to come to a team like the Atlanta Dream and be the actual star on that team. Now, were they a great team? Absolutely not. But you have a young core of a talent of a team where she could go into a team like that, fit right in, not have to be the centerpiece, learn the game, and really have an excellent WNBA career. And I'm saying Tanisha Wright for a reason, because one thing, if you all know about hoops, Tanisha Wright was known for her defense. She was known for her tenacity. She was known for her grit and grind. And I think that it's a foregone conclusion that Atlanta Dream will not pass up on her. If she even, I don't think she's going to go 8, but that's just one example as far as my pushback on her going out. I think there's a lot of teams that would consider her to be a steal, a dream. See what I did, Atlanta Dream, a dream. Okay.
I
To
got
get her
you.
8 or higher. I think that would be, I think she's going to go. I think she's going to go. I hear you. Good point about the health. Again, that came from our dynamic chat members. I need to do some more looking up on that, because I thought she was just ambidextrous. I had no knowledge of her right shoulder. I haven't seen any articles on her right shoulder, but I will look more into that. But I think that as far as her impact, showing these young ladies how to be profitable as an entrepreneur and transitioning that to the WNBA, all roads lead to going to the WNBA.
Oh, I think that Angel is a top 10 pick, regardless of this year or next year. Top 5 potentially, depending on where she finishes. But for me, I'd rather her get that shoulder fixed on the school's dime, um, you know, than the WNBA. Just because I'm just not sure about the budget. I'm not sure about you know
Atlanta too. Oof.
strength conditioning.
Marketing.
So Atlanta would be a great team for her. I think that I think that Atlanta has a nice core that they're building. I think that they're still young. I think that I don't know that they made a lot of big moves in free agency. I have to go and look, but
Not yet.
I expect them to be kind of where they're at. So if they want her this year, they probably can get her next year.
Mm-hmm.
But there's also going to be an additional team coming into the mix next year, potentially 2. I'm hearing, but for sure the Bay Area team that could change some of that expansion draft and break up some of these teams. So I think that she has options, but I would get my shoulder fixed on the school's dime and let them
Yeah,
do all the rehab in the facility right there, and where I'm still treated like a rock star.
that's a
Um,
fact.
before I'm flying coaching and trying to figure it out in the WNBA, because I don't know if you pay your own specialist or how that work, if they reimburse you at the end of the year. I'm not really it's not really clear for me, so somebody have to let me know that. But uh I just really wanted to just take a moment and give this young lady her flowers, and just really appreciate what she's been able to do for women's basketball at so many levels, from high school and under, all the way up to the WNBA. She has definitely made some fans at every level, and started to gain the respect of a lot of players. So just hats off and a salute to Angel Reese for her impact.
Yep. All right. You did surprise me with that one.
Yeah, I know you didn't see that one coming, Coach. Thought I'd throw you a curveball. But yeah, we are definitely still on that push to 1,000 new subscribers. Y'all hit that subscribe button, ring that notification bell, like those videos, run those numbers up on them likes. Let's get the videos out to more people, and share.